ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. 15th chapter, we saw the description of the samsara vriksha, the inverted tree, and the symbolism there also we saw that the roots are above, meaning the source of this whole srishti is divine, is consciousness, is Bhagavan, and the branches are below. And this is a ashwatha tree which is very temporary, so the branches represent the samsara, creation. It is very fickle, very temporary, yet very strong. Ashwatham prahuravyayam. And the leaves of this tree are the Vedas. One who has the knowledge of both the changing world as well as the changeless is known as the Vedavit. And also we saw ultimately one has to come to realize the oneness of all. Jiva, Jagat, Jagadishwara, oneness of all. One who realizes is really a Vedavit. Then Bhagavan went on to describe little more, saying ki the main branch he has already described, then the leaves he described, then there are other smaller branches which move up and down. So if the whole creation is the main branch, in that from there are smaller branches up and down. Those are the 14 worlds. Adhascha urdhvam prasritaha tasya shakhaha. What nourishes the tree? Guna pravriddhaha. Like water, sunlight and manure nourishes the tree. In that same way, the samsara is nourished by 3 gunas. And the sense objects are the very delicate, new, fresh buds, Vishaya Pravalaha. These are sense objects which will tempt the individual. And just like those buds, they will become flowers, then they will give rise to fruits, which will have further seeds, which will then create more trees. So the sense attractions, the objects, they seem very tempting and they are very as though harmless, innocent. And by themselves they are, no doubt. But when we have a vasana for it, then we engage in it, then we get attached to it, then we need new bodies. So that is how the sense objects are more dangerous. We saw Shankaracharya's analogy of poison. They are more dangerous than poison because poison destroys only those who consume it. The sense objects, even somebody who sees, the downfall can begin. So then he said Vishaya Pravalaha. Then Adhascha Molani Anusantatani Karmanubandhini Manushaloke. Then there are the secondary roots. So the primary root, which is there below the tree, which is there in the below the ground, holds the tree, no doubt, but that is in one place. But the secondary roots, they spread all over, and then they make the tree much more stronger. These secondary roots here are not the adventitious roots. The adventitious roots are what we see in the Vatavriksha, in that banyan tree. From the branches, the roots also will come down and then they hold the ground. This is people tree. No adventitious roots here. These are secondary roots which are below the ground. So, what are these? It was said these are the karmas. Um, Adhascha mulanyanu karmanubandhini. And these karmas bind the jiva to Manushya Loka also can be used to get out of this bondage. And Manushya is what one will return again and again to. Because of karma, one may take any yoni, go into any world, enjoy, suffer one's karma phalas, but again one will be back to Manushya. So this raga and dvesha, etc., when one has attachments, aversions, one acts out of those attachments and aversions, those karmas create seeds. Those karmas create new vasanas, which further create desire, thoughts, actions, which need new bodies. So that is how it goes on. So karma will nourish this samsara, creating new births. And so Bhagavan says here that these roots are karma and they need to be cut. Till we don't cut the roots, and karma again is an expression of vichar, vichar is expression of ichha, desire. Desire is an expression of vasana, vasana is expression of ignorance. I don't know who am I. So till that is not done, till that oneness that I and Bhagavan are one, I and consciousness are one is not realized, this samsara vriksha will continue. And that's why karmanubandhini manushya loke. So having come to this manushya loka, one has to be alert. Ki, am I increasing my bondage by selfish karmas, karmas filled with raga and dvesha? Or am I doing karma with the attitude of karma yoga, dedicated to Bhagavan, do it with a selfless attitude, do it without raga and dvesha, whether I like it or not, what is my duty I have to do. So this raga and dvesha, they strengthen and increase the karma. But if I don't do that way, then the existing karma will get exhausted. I am not creating new karmas which will bind. So the mind will become quieter. So I can use Manushya Janma and this Manushya Loka to increase my bondage or to decrease it or to destroy it. That depends on me, what is my choice. And it has nothing to do with whether one takes up Grahasthashram or doesn't take up Grahasthashram. According to one's temperament, one has to choose. We have seen that earlier, that in the 5th chapter, Bhagavan explains that very clearly to Arjun. Arjun is an adhikari for grahastha, not for sannyas, and he has to do his duty as a warrior. So Bhagavan told in the 5th chapter, Ekam Sankhyam cha Yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. Sankhya, which is the path of renunciation, contemplation, and yoga, karma yoga. Bhagavan says both will lead to the same, don't bother. Ekam apyasthita samyak ubhayor vindate phalam. You get established in one, you will get the result of both. So if somebody thinks, oh, if I marry, then I will be bound to samsar, which is what many people think. Oh, marriage is samsar, and no marriage is no samsar. There are enough people who are not married, who are very terribly attached to so many other things, money, power, fame, organization, anything. And there are enough people who are in the household, married, having children, but very detached. So it depends on the clarity and the mindset and what I am made for. I act according to that with the clarity. If I'm made for renunciation, I walk that path. If I'm made for the path of duties, in the world with the family, etc. I walk that path. But the clarity is I am dedicating it to Bhagwan, both the cases. Then there is no confusion. In fact, to Bhagwan, Arjun said that Karma Yoga is better than sannyas. Because that question that Arjun asked. So that is because Arjun's adhikara is for Karma Yoga. So we have to identify and ask ourselves honestly, what am I made for? What is my natural inclination, temperament? Do I have extrovertedness? Do I need to enjoy? Do I need fame, name, progeny, property, prosperity? Does my happiness come from these? Some types of enjoyment, travel, this, that. Then follow the path of Karma Yoga. Again, there marry, no marry is one's own choice. If one follows the path of renunciation, that is because one has vairagya. If vairagya is not there and only one escape, one is wanting to escape. No, this बहुत झंझट है स्वामी जी. Wife and children and I don't have freedom then. So I'm not going to take it. Now if that is the attitude, then that's escapist mindset. Then this will not work. Because this spiritual life requires much more hard work. One has to see for oneself, be utterly honest, brutally honest, walk the path, substitute the negative, so many things. And vairagya has to be there, mind should be able to contemplate steadily. So one has to choose very carefully. Now, having said this, Bhagavan moves on and he says, Narupamasyeha tathopalabhyate. This samsara vriksha, obviously, so Gurudev explains this that don't take this as a, very literally. There is no such tree available which is physically upside down. So in his commentary, he has written that in order that the students may not misunderstand this mystic symbolism and take the tree too literally, the Gita Acharya owns that its form as such is not perceived here. Meaning, literally, there is no such tree. So symbolism has to be understood. So what does he mean here? Narupamasyeha tatha upalabhyate. So one meaning is the understanding has to be subjective. Okay, this samsara vriksha is in me. I don't know Paramatma, that is the cause of my bondage, samsara. Then I am attached to the things which are changing, that is the cause of samsara. My own karmas, they are attachments, born out of attachments, they are the cause of my samsara. I don't have spiritual knowledge of the changeless, that ignorance is the cause of my samsara. Then sense temptations, this sense objects which are there. My lack of sense control is the cause of my attachments. Cause of is samsara. My suffering is coming because of that. So if one understands, this is a samsara vriksha inside me. Always remember that we are talking about ourselves. It is not that samsara is a cause of sorrow. In this, has anywhere Bhagavan said, this person is the cause of your sorrow, that object is the cause of your sorrow, this individual, this situation is the cause of your sorrow? No. Even when he says Vishaya Pravalaha, he says the sense objects are the buds. It is only because we have the vasana and then those sense objects can create further consequences for us. Otherwise, nobody outside is responsible for my sorrow or my state of mind. It is inside me. So, Bhagavan says, Narupamasya tatha upalabhyate. Nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha. There is no end to this. Sometimes people ask that question, Swamiji, where will all this end? It will not end. When will all this end? It will never end. Samsara will go on and on. I can only choose to get out of this. If I feel enough, if I have to give a limited example, the example has its own limitation, that In the movie theater, a movie is going on. Suppose there are four shows in a day. Today, four shows will go on, tomorrow will go on, next day will go on, it will go on. You see the movie, you exit saying, done, my job is done, I exit. But the movie will go on. If you are attached to that and you want to see it again, again you go next show, again you go. Sometimes when one is in a, whether when one, sometimes with friends or when one is in college or wherever, sometimes one sees back to back movie. One movie scene, then go to the next one, then the third one, back to back to back. Oh, that is the desire, then one will do that. If one says, no, enough, let's go back. So samsara is like that. Na adihi na antaha. Na anto na chadir. It has no beginning. When did all this begin? There is beginningless. Na anto na chadir. So the point to understand is there is no need of trying to figure out when did all this begin and when will it end. It will end when you decide it to end. It will not end. Don't wait when it will end. With that, my suffering will end. It will never happen. That will go on. Again, another example is the education system, let us say. You go to the school, you study, you finish your job, you exit from there. You entered into the school when, let us say, in nursery. You exit when you finish your 12th standard. But the school is going on. And after many, many years, you return to the school as alumni and then you remember, oh, this is where I studied, this is where this used to be, now something else is there. Again, limitation of example. So in that way, just like that school goes on, samsara will go on. You go, do your job, realize, oh, this is all temporary, exit. Interesting thing is when you exit, this whole thing ends and nothing after that for you. No, but what about others? That others won't remain only because that others are projection. They are not real. You are that Parabrahma Tattva, that alone is, that is the truth, full stop. The moment that waker wakes up, whole dream world has ended, finished. So, the point here is, by itself, the samsara will not have, it doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have an end. Why? Because it is not real, it is a product of avidya, ignorance. Somebody asks the question to you that, okay, last night you went to sleep. What time did you go to sleep? You can say what time you went to lie down on the bed. You can't say what time you went into sleep. Because if you are saying that what time you went into sleep, you know it, then you didn't get into sleep. You are aware, you are awake. So when you entered into sleep, then time you went beyond. Then only you could go into that sleep. This time, physical clock time, withdrew from it. Then only one can go into that. Same way, this Srishti, when it began, it is one projection like a dream. Beginningless it is. With the projection, time came into being. It is, and what is the cause of the projection? Avidya. I don't know who am I. Which is what happens many times. Maya functions like that. Non-apprehension leads to misapprehension. Many times people ask some question, do you know where is this place? If I don't know, I should say I don't know. But what will do? People do sometimes. I think if you go from here straight, take a right, you will reach. You don't even know that place. You're just imagining something and telling him go right, go straight, take right. But mind is like that. When it doesn't know, then it imagines, projects. So when one doesn't know the truth, one projects. Then the Srishti comes into being, then the creation happens, then whatever the time, etc. All that happens. Then one is asking in that, when did all this begin? It's like one dream character is asking, when did this dream begin? Arey, you only began it. There is no time. You are the waker lying on the bed and nothing has actually happened, but you have forgotten that as a dream character, you have forgotten who you are, and now you are thinking this whole thing has happened. From when did it begin? It is going on beginningless time because avidya is like that. Avidya is anadi, but it will end. For you, the individual, it can end when knowledge arises. So, Nantona Chadir has to be understood in one context that by itself, samsara is beginningless and endless because it is a product of avidya. It is not real. Difference between science and Vedanta is this: science thinks creation is real, Advait Vedanta says it is a projection, it is not real. And now slowly science is coming to that. So, nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha, and it is not even very well established, it is so fickle. What we think, oh, well settled, suddenly everything collapses. Even the most well settled will be for a few years, few days, few moments, gone, destroyed. So, if one sees this is the nature of samsara, then one says, enough now. I have seen, enjoyed, experienced enough. Same thing is going to repeat again and again in some different forms. What else will happen? And it will not give me fulfillment. One will still hanker after something or the other. Even after getting whatever one wanted, one still feels empty only. If one has seen through this very clearly, then one says, I have to get out of this. Now, how to get out of this? So the second line of this third shloka says, Ashwathamenam Suvirudha Mulam. This Ashwatha, whose roots are very, very strong. Suvirudha Mulam. What has to be done? Asanga Shastrena. With the axe of detachment, one has to hit at the root. Now, this axe of detachment, one has to understand. Asanga Shastrena. So there are different ways to understand this. One is that, yes, whatever I am very attached to in the world, I need to identify because those are the causes of my bondage. Suppose I say I am attached to my child. The child is not the cause of bondage. My attachment to the child is the cause of bondage. We generally think that child is cause of bondage. This money is cause of bondage. That house is cause of bondage. No, that is not. My attachment to it is the cause of bondage. Same house, when it becomes old, when I get a bigger house, better place, better facilities, I will just leave and go. Yes, sometimes memories may be associated, but I am happy to leave and go. Now what happened to that attachment? I got something else more exciting. Now go there. Now one can't blame na, the house is the cause of my sorrow. Or that I am attached to it because of the house. No, it was my attachment. I dropped it. I found something else, so I'm going there. So what is my attachment? The strongest attachment that I have to work on that first. What is my strongest attachment? If I don't work on that, I may work on some little few things. I won't see the progress. The strongest attachment of mine, I have to identify and say I need to drop my psychological dependency on that without this I cannot be happy. So suppose it is a child example. I am very attached to my child, which means psychologically I am depending if this child behaves in a specific way, then only I will be happy. If the child responds in a specific way, does specific things, then only I will be happy. That psychological dependency I have to drop. And dridhena chitva. Again and again with firmness one has to hit because the attachment we have to understand is built over a period of time. It is a thought bondage in Gurudev's language. Attachment is a thought bondage which I have built thought by thought. Every time I drink the cup of coffee, I am attached to it. I like it. I say happiness is equal to coffee. Now I am creating one impression. And it goes on getting strengthened. That samskara becomes vasana, strong. Then I feel without coffee, my day doesn't begin well. Now attachment has been built. Same way with the child, I've built my attachment thought after thought. And so if I just say now I'm detached, it will not happen. I have to keep doing that again and again. Where the separation has to happen, what is love and what is attachment? In love, there is freedom. In love, there is space. In love, there is a certain uh, understanding of the beloved, and then you put them before you. So, channelize that energy from attachment to love. If required in certain ways, keep a certain distance also. Depends on whatever the deepest attachment is, on what nature it is. But sometimes one needs to do that. Which is why sometimes we find, some children, they want to go out and study. Whether it is abroad or whether it is somewhere else in this country, they want to be out from the place where their parents are, from their home. Why? Because they need that distance. Some of them doing it just like that also because it's some peer pressure, everybody is going. That is a different matter. But some are actually going because they feel that we don't have freedom, we have grown up, we want to make our distant decisions, we want to live our life our way, and there's too much of control. And it's okay even if I make a mistake, but it will be my mistake, I will learn. All that thought process goes on. So, distance also can help. So, the point is, asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. With firmness, one has to hit at it. Because a past habit will again make me attached. Again, the psychological thought process will come. So I need to find out the pain of attachment, that how much attachment can bring sorrow to me and the beloved, both. One is to understand the pain of attachment, other is to find a higher purpose. If these two are there, then the asanga shastrena dridhena chitva will happen. If my mind doesn't have something new, noble, inspiring, higher to engage with, it will again go back to its object of attachment. Gurudev always used to say that mind doesn't know how to function in vacuum. If you detach it from somewhere, you have to attach it somewhere else. And that attachment, if it is to something higher, selfless, noble, Bhagwan, or any other higher purpose, then it will become easier to drop this attachment. And there, because it is higher, slowly one will go beyond that attachment also easily. So one meaning is Sangha Shastrena Dridhena Chitva. One has to identify, these are my top three attachments. Write down, why am I attached to this? What is the nature of this attachment? If I say I'm attached to my child, what does that mean? I'm attached to money, what does that mean? And it will be very interesting to understand. It is not that I'm attached to my child for the sake of the child. I'm attached to the child for what the child gives me. Very interesting it is. So really I'm not attached to the child. I'm attached to what I'm getting out of the child and how the child is making me feel. I'm attached to that feeling and that image associated with that feeling. Money, I'm not attached to money by itself. I am attached to the status that it brings, the praise that it brings, the freedom that I may get to just indulge, engage, fulfill desire, whatever it is. I am attached to that, and through that I feel a certain image I have built of myself, ki I have a cool life. That I am attached to. So if we go much more deeper into this attachment topic, we are not attached to people, things, objects. We are attached to what they give us, what they make us feel, and further we are attached to what they make us think about myself. If somebody makes me feel lesser about myself, I won't have attachment to them. If some experience is not pleasant, I won't be attached to them. I won't brood because attachment will come through brooding. I may hate them, dvesha will come. And I will want to maybe take revenge or whatever. Both raga and dvesha can be harmful, there is no doubt. In one, I am feeling good, in one, I am feeling bad. In both, what it is making me feel, I am attached to that. And that is what I have to drop. That image I have to drop. That I am happy no matter what happens outside, no matter what others do. My happiness doesn't depend on them. And doesn't mean I will become indifferent to them, careless about them, disrespectful towards them. No. I will be dutiful, I will do what needs to be done, respectful, all that. But my happiness doesn't depend. That is such great power. And that the world doesn't like. People who are free and people who are independent and who don't depend on anyone for their happiness, they can't be controlled. And the world doesn't like such people. They want control. Others want control. But that's why the Asanga Shastrina Dridhana Chitva. If I understand the nature of the world, it is their insecurity which is trying to make them control me. Why will I fall for that? In the name of attachment, in the name of love, no need. No need to feel unnecessarily guilty about it. And sometimes people will put emotional pressure also. That is their conditioning. They have to handle that. I can help in certain ways, but I don't have to fall for that. That is Asanga Shastrina Dridhena Chitva. So when we do this, what happens? The real dropping is my attachment to my image. One is not really attached to the phone, let us say iPhone. One is attached to the status that it brings. Oh, this person has iPhone. Oh, latest iPhone. Oh my God, wow. That feeling, that is what one likes. So now if one understands that, then it becomes in some ways easier because now the control is in my hand. What is my image I am having in my head that I have associated I plus this object is equal to happiness. That equation I created. No, now that equation I have to change. That I is equal to happiness. Bas. Object comes, ठीक doesn't come, doesn't matter. And dridhena, again and again. This is one aspect. If we go deeper into Vedantic aspect, then Asanga Shastra is detached from everything which is visible. Objects, people, situation, body, prana, mind, intellect, be the witness. That witness is Asanga, not attached to anything, unaffected by anything, uninvolved, unaffected observer is the witness. If I have done the earlier step, not dropping my image attachments, then I can remain as a witness. Otherwise, I won't be able to remain as a witness. My mind will again go back to the feel-good factor that the so-called attachment or aversion brings. So Vairagya comes then. When one has detached, saying, no, my happiness doesn't depend, like how we have detached from childhood toys, there's no craving for it, no running behind it, no aversion towards it, detached. In that way, one will do that for the whole world. This is one step of removing the samsara vriksha. It is not the only step. This is a preparatory step. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva is only a preparatory step. With that preparation, one has to destroy the root cause of sorrow, which is ignorance of the self. I don't know who am I. That knowledge has to be gained. Till that knowledge is not gained, I and Paramatma are one, this samsara will continue. And which is why it is so important to know the place of knowledge in life. Self-knowledge I'm talking about right now. If I want cure, there is no other solution except knowledge. Atma Jnana. What does the Guru Stotram say? Shivji is saying that to Mother Parvati in the Skanda Purana. अनेक जन्म संप्राप्त कर्म बंध विदाहिने आत्मज्ञान प्रदानेन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. अनेक जन्म संप्राप्त. How many lives one has collected karma? Karma bandha. Vidahine. He who has burnt, destroyed the full bondage of karma. How? That seeker has destroyed it because of the Atma Jnana that the Guru has given. To such a Guru, my salutation, Shivji says. Without Atma Jnana, Mukti is not possible. In terms of Kaivalya Mukti, in terms of realizing the absolute truth, it is not possible. Living in life, living in samsara in a better way, one can do. So one can do yoga, pranayam, some kind of seva, spiritual sadhana, bhajan, kirtan, all that one can do, and each of them are helpful, each of them have their own place, no doubt about it. But they are not enough. Even all this detachment, withdrawal, focusing only on the breathing, just trying to be, all that can help. But I need to know I am Brahman, where this small I is not that I am Brahman in my true nature. That Atma Jnana, again, is not only words, it is that which is from the heart of the teacher to the heart of the student, it will travel. Travel in the sense the teacher, when the words of the teacher the student hears with this preparation, that student gets Atma Jnana. That will destroy avidya. Then only samsara vriksha ends. And this Atma Jnana is what people don't understand. They are more engaged in kriya, so karma, some ritual, some japa, some puja, some ये दे दो इससे हो जाएगा मुक्ति, इतना पुण्य हो जाएगा, some तीर्थ यात्रा, some दान, some ritual. Again, I'm saying all this has a place, no doubt, but they can only purify the mind, they can unify the mind, they cannot help me to transcend the attachment to the mind. I am this jiva, the jiva bhav has to go. For that only jnana is required. And jnana sadhana is shravan manan nididhyasan, on the path of knowledge. Or Bhagavan has to give Atma Jnana, like what he said earlier, no? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I will bless this jiva with Atma Jnana, who is single pointedly thinking of me. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. I will bless them with that buddhi yoga. So either Guru has to give Atma Jnana, or Bhagavan has to give Atma Jnana, or if somebody says, I am striving for it, I didn't realize in this life, then you go to Brahmalok, Brahmaji has to give Atma Jnana. Someone has to give, and they have to tell properly, and you have to be ready to receive it. So, one of the reasons why we say 15th chapter is the essence of the Gita is because the path of Vedanta also is said here. What is bondage? How to feel the bondage? What is samsara? Bandhan of samsara? Dukkha of samsara? If one reflects, and then one feels that I want to get out of this sorrow. This asanga shastrena dridhena chitva will come only when I feel the sorrow in this samsara. And which is why if sometimes pain comes, welcome it. Saying that these are wake-up calls Bhagavan is giving. Get out of this samsara. How much moha will have for it? What is there in this samsara? One goes on getting attached to it more and more and more and thinks that is a cool life. One seeker went to a Mahatma Ji. And the seeker asked Mahatma Ji that, and that seeker was a renunciate, sannyasi, but has not yet experienced the truth. So that seeker asked Mahatma Ji that, I have renounced the world, I am living in self-control, I am doing certain sadhanas also, and I have been doing it for certain years, still the realization is not happening. Why is it so? That Mahatma was a realized person. The Mahatma looked at that seeker and said, because you have not experienced enough pain, so the desire to be free is not very intense. The desire to be free is there, and that's why the person has renounced, but it is not very intense. One of the reasons is the pain has not been enough. You have had a very comfortable life. If you think about that, I have thought about that many times and I still keep thinking that what an answer that is. So when sometimes we feel, life is very comfortable, Bhagwan's kripa and all that, no doubt is good and nothing wrong with that by itself. But that's not necessary that a person will be having intensity of wanting freedom, because comfort sometimes makes the person very um, go into a shell. One has not suffered enough, one has not experienced enough pain to feel ki no, I need to get out. The recognition of bondage is not intense enough. Again, I'm saying it is not, that's not the only method. I'm just saying is one example given here of the anecdote of this Mahatma Ji. So sometimes when pain comes, one has seen ki what levels of, it is not again escapism. Again, it is not that, oh, I don't have enough strength and so I'm suffering and now I want to get out of samsara. No, one has done one's best. One is doing the duties. Still, the difficulties will be there. Pain will come, ups and downs in life will be there, but one is observing very carefully. Pariksha Lokan, that is most important. Pariksha, one has to observe, examine, see for oneself what is the real nature of this samsara. Not borrowed opinions, not simply some conditioning of whatever society is believing and going by that. No. Seeker will experience and see life for oneself, for what it is. Majority may not even accept it, that is their problem. If my experience is this is what it is, in my experience, I am seeing it, it is very, very limited and it cannot satisfy both good and bad in the samsara. Punya and papa, both. One has seen. Spiritual practice also one has done, material thing also one has gone through. Everybody doesn't have to become multi-billionaire to see the limitation of wealth. Even with whatever one has, one can see the limitation of wealth. If that Vivek Buddhi is there, Satsang is there, one sees, goes through some experiences and says, enough now, I have seen for myself, this is absolutely temporary, and attaching to this is what is giving sorrow. And why I'm attaching myself to this? Because I don't know who am I. So I need to know who am I. If that clarity has come, then that intensity with which one goes to the teacher. I want knowledge because I know that the knowledge is the only solution. And yes, to prepare for that knowledge, if I need to do any sadhana, I will do. So karma yoga and upasana and any of these yajna, dana, vrata, japa, tirtha, all that I will do. But my clarity is knowledge is the most important and I am a seeker of knowledge. Brahma Vidya I want. And that knowledge can be attained only from a teacher who is established in the truth. I can get a Shrotriya teacher. If I can't get a Brahmanishta, I should definitely get a Shrotriya from whom I can learn the scripture in a time-tested way. The scriptures have given this knowledge, so I will be safe. And also, the path has been indicated by great masters who have walked it, reached it, so one understands that, okay, this will lead there. But if one gets a Brahmanishta, nothing like it. That is the solution. Listen to this Atma Gyan from a teacher who is realized, established in the truth, having prepared the mind. So the next shloka is saying that Ki tataha means having prepared like this, now you go to the teacher and seek the knowledge. Though the word guru is not there anywhere in this, the 15th chapter is an essence because it will tell us this, the bondage, the sorrow it brings, the intensity with which I want to get out of it. Then how do I prepare myself? Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Then what do I do? Go to the teacher. Seek the knowledge. So the fourth shloka says, Tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatah pravritti prasrita purani. So he says tataha, then. That word then has so many meanings. Tataha means then. Then means what? One meaning is simple. Having cultivated this sense of detachment and dispassion, tataha, what should you do? Tat padam parimargitavyam. Tat padam. Tat padam means One should seek that infinite consciousness. What is that infinite consciousness? Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. Having gone where there is no return. Meaning one will again not get deluded. If I get deluded again, what is the point of this knowledge? Having gained that knowledge, my delusion will be destroyed once and for all. No more falling back into ignorance. No more getting into this false notion that I am this jiva, I am the body, then attachment to the people, nothing. Finished once and for all. That one should seek. That's what he's saying, parimargitavyam. Oh, human being, Bhagwan is giving like one, call, clarion call. Oh, human being, having come to this world, having seen the sorrow of samsara, having cultivated a detachment, having got certain dispassion and turned away from things, then you should seek that truth. Because honestly, we came for that only. Until we don't realize that, we will keep coming in this form. On the earth in different forms also, and sometimes then we will come in human form also. Till we don't realize my nature is Brahman. So we came for that. So we should fulfill that. So tata padam tat parimargitavyam. And that's why Upanishads say, Atma va are drashtavyaha, are human beings. Atma has to be seen, discovered. How? Shrotavyaha mantavyaha nididhyasitavya. Through Shravan Manan Nididhyasan. So tata padam tat parimargitavyam. That supreme state of oneness, where Jiva, Jagat, Jagadishvara all disappear. There is only one truth, Brahman, that consciousness. Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. Having discovered which, there is no more coming back. He is not going to some loka, staying there. It is not saying that. Tat padam it is said, not that loka. Not some Shiva loka, Vishnu loka, Brahma loka. No, no, no. Because there still individuality remains. There, if Bhagwan gives Atma Gyan and releases, that's a different point. But otherwise, that Jiva still remains there. Limited, bound. It's just that little more comfortable in the presence of Bhagwan. See, the examples which are given in Mahabharata, etc., they can help us to understand this, that even though somebody is close to Bhagwan, it is not necessary that they will realize the truth and they will be free from bandhan. Duryodhana and Krishna Bhagwan, they are samdhis also. Krishna Bhagwan's son, Samba, is married to Duryodhana's daughter. Did Duryodhana realize the truth? Nothing. As deluded as before. Arjuna and Bhagwan have grown up together. Did Arjuna realize the truth just because he is with Bhagwan? No. When he went through the sorrow, when he exhausted all his arguments, then he understood that I am bound by my own ignorance, I don't know what is the truth. Then he surrenders to Bhagwan and then he says, Shishya Steham, I am your Shishya Bhagwan. Now you please instruct. Now think about it. If somebody says, I am going to go to the world of Bhagwan, I will be there forever, I will be in bliss. You will not be. That is a different matter. Ki Bhagwan's world, people describe it as blissful and Shastra also says that. But that is one stepping stone. Still the Jiva Bhav is there. And again the Shastra is saying that also, okay, even if you go to that loka, even if you become like Bhagwan, you can still become Asura. It's strange, na? We don't see our scriptures properly. Properly we don't understand. That Jay and Vijay, they were looking exactly like Bhagwan. Sarupya Mukti they had. Salokya, obviously they are in the loka of Bhagwan. They are the Dwarpals of Bhagwan. And there still they got ego. And they got cursed by Sanat Kumars finally ki you acted like a Asura, you both become an Asura. 3 times they were born. And look at the compassion of Bhagwan. Bhagwan said, they are after all my Dwarpalas. If they have insulted you and they are going down 3 times, I will go down 4 times to liberate them. So when this Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they are there, then Bhagwan takes Varaha avatar and then Narasimha avatar. Then there is Ravan and Kumbhakarna, so Bhagwan takes Ram avatar. Then this Shishupal and Dantavakra, then Bhagwan takes Krishna avatar. 4 times Bhagwan goes down to save these people. And what happened to them after they were killed in all the three? Again, they came back finally after all the three all the three rebirths are over for them. They are back to Dwarpal. Where is Mukti for them? It will happen only when Atma Gyan happens. That's why Atma Jnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. One has to seek Atma Gyan. The best option that one can strive for, the best thing that one can do with human life is seek Jivan Mukti. I want to be liberated here and now while living. Jivan Mukti, best option. And for that, Asanga Shastrena Dridena Chitva. Cut all attachments. Again telling you, in the mind. Drop all attachments in the mind. If that intensity of knowledge is there, seeking my goal is to realize the truth, and I will work hard for that. Everything else I can put aside when that intensity is that I want to know the truth. And why I want to know the truth? Because that's the only solution. If I really want a cure, that is the only solution. Nothing else. It is all temporary, other things are. Now, if one has that great intensity, then one will come to realize this truth here and now, or in Brahmalok, that is Krama Mukti. Before Krama Mukti, one can attain Sadhyo Mukti also. What is that Sadhyo Mukti? I am striving intensely to know the truth and I have not yet realized the truth. You know, in the Gita, what Bhagavan says, second chapter, he says, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. This is the highest state of Brahman, having attained which one will not get deluded again. Sthitvasyam Antakalepi. Even at the last minute, if one gets established in this truth, Atmagyan, Brahma Nirvanam Richati, one will attain Brahma Nirvan. That is Sadhyo Mukti. Meaning, the body dropping at that time one comes to realize and instant liberation, no more rebirth after that, no more going to any loka, Brahma loka, nothing. There is one definition of Sadhyo Mukti is that prana departs at that time one has come to realize the truth. Why? Because one has been intensely seeking and continuously contemplating I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, drop the Jiva Bhava and got established. Either Jivan Mukti, so while living itself one realizes and then after that whatever the prarabdha of the body goes on, let it go on. That the Jivan Mukta is not bothered because I am not the body anymore. That body is prarabdha, if it is going on, it goes on. For the Jivan Mukta, it doesn't even exist. For others, it exists as though. Sadhyo Mukti is while dropping the body also, at that point one realizes, then gone. No more coming back after that. That is what all this is. Yasmin Gatana Nivartanti Bhuya. If both these cannot happen, then Brahmalok. If one doesn't have Vishaya Vasanas, if one has Vishaya Vasanas, then one will go to those worlds. Again, one will be born and one will continue satsang from where one has left. Sadhana will continue until one realizes the truth. This process will go on. So samsara will go only when this avidya bija goes. Now please imagine what Gurudev did for us. Think. It is very, very important to understand what did Gurudev do for us. What did he leave and come? He left Himalayas, he left Gangaji, he left Tapon Maharaj, all of them, and he came down to give us this Atmajnan. And he never compromised. He never diluted it. He made it easy for us to understand. He adapted, he gave modern examples, but he did not dilute it. He wrote books which are simpler for us to understand, to build a base. Kindle Life, Self-Unfoldment, Meditation and Life, commentaries on books like Bhaju Govindam, Sadhana Panchakam, all that he did, but never diluted this knowledge. Continuously kept our goal to say this knowledge, Vedant, Atmagyan is the solution. And he didn't bother about masses. In the sense that he didn't say ki, oh, this will not appeal to the masses. He gave what he had to give because he was convinced by this. This is the power of knowledge. And this is the only way of exit, is to gain knowledge. The highest knowledge he gave to us. In fact, when he started with the Supreme Kenopanishad, then he started Mandukya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, then he was taking Mandukya also. And he was doing Upanishad Gyan Yajnas in the evening. Not even Gita. He did not begin with Gita. He began with Upanishads. Because that was his conviction. How will we find such a teacher? What compassion of that master that he came down. 42 years he struggled. And joyously gave this knowledge to everybody. All different age groups he made it accessible. What love, compassion, brilliant. If today we appreciate Shankaracharya ji and his philosophy and Vedant, and we are able to study, it is all because of Gurudev, what he did. Gita commentaries he wrote. He never studied Gita from his master, Tapon Maharaj. He never studied Gita. Tapon Maharaj was going to teach Gita, but he fell sick. Tapon Maharaj fell sick, and in some time he passed on. He didn't learn the Gita at all from his master. He learned Upanishads. He learned Panchadashi. And he gave the Gita. He understood that Upanishads are not so easy for people to understand. Then he built a base for all of them. Earlier, yajnas used to be so long, 100 days and all that. Because the base has to be built, then Upanishad Vidya has to be given. Then he came to Gita. Then he shifted Gita talks. He started Gita talks in the evening, so shifted the Upanishad talks to the morning. But he didn't stop giving Upanishad knowledge. And not that Gita knowledge is any inferior, but it is more simpler to understand. So this is what he did. Because the root cause of sorrow is to be removed. No, he was not interested only in relief methods. Sometimes he would joke also, you know. So in Vedant course, somebody said, you know, Swamiji, these brahmacharis, they should learn to do yoga also. Not that he was against yoga, but he was so clear. He said, they have not come here to twist their bodies. They have come here to straighten their minds. So Surya Namaskar was taught and you know they used to do it. But he would say 12 Surya Namaskars is enough. That much yoga you do, that's it. Focus on study, reflection, thinking, assimilating, doing service of people, do your upasana, all that you do. So the point is Atma Gyan, Tata Padam Tat Parimargitavyam, Parimargitavyam. Yasmin Gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. Having gone where, having discovered which, there is no again coming back. Tameva chadyam. Tam eva, that alone. See, that is the intensity of the Vedantic student. I want that alone. Tam eva. And what is that? Adyam. That supreme truth, which is the source of the whole Srishti. Tameva chadyam. Who is that? Purusham, in my own heart. Not somebody out there. Tameva chadyam purusham. That purusha, purnatvat purusha, puraushete iti purusha. That which is the state of fulfillment, which is the source of everything, that is in my heart, puraushete, in this body. This body is called city. City is Puri. Puraushete. In this body, that supreme consciousness which is in my own heart, that I want to seek, is the sankalp of the seeker. So, tameva chadyam purusham prapadye, that I seek refuge of that purusha. Seek refuge means what? I realize that I am that Brahman, having heard from the teacher. So this Tata Padam Tat Parimargitavyam is indicative of going to the teacher and gaining Brahma Vidya. And then you sit and contemplate. And who is that Purusha? Yata Pravritti Prasrita Purani. From where all the activities, means the whole Srishti is coming forth, that supreme cause of the whole universe, not one form, not one loka. That supreme consciousness which is appearing as this whole Srishti, Jiva, Jagat, Jagadishwara, that is in my heart. So I take refuge of that Supreme Purusha, ki I am that Purusha, I am not this body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. The samsara is only a projection, it is not real. There is only one truth. Jiva, Jagat, Jagdishwara are illusory in front of that truth, and I am that one truth. This I am that one truth is not Mr. So and so. Again, I am saying that because so many people ask that question. If I am Brahman, why should I worship Ishvara? Are, that question only will not arise if you realize that you are Brahman. Or if you have that even intellectual clarity, you are Brahman. That question is arising because you are still mistaking I to be Mr. So and so. So, the idea here is this. These are two verses which tell us the path that how a person will come to realize this truth, having prepared oneself. So this verse number 3 is a preparation. Asanga shastrina dridhena chitva, cultivate detachment. If we go into the little more elaboration of that, then it is fourfold qualification: viveka, discrimination between real and unreal; vairagya, absence of craving for sense enjoyments here and hereafter; shatka sampatti, quality, 6 qualities: sense control, mind control, withdrawal, forbearance, faith, absorption of the mind, shatka sampatti. And mumukshutvam, intense desire to be free. These are fourfold qualifications. Having cultivated that, go to the teacher. Tataha padam tat parimargitavyam. And why do I need only a teacher? Because this truth is not visible. In the sense, I may see this whole creation as the Nama Rupa, it is not Brahman, it is perishable. But the substratum behind it is Brahman. But that is not sensorily visible. I can't perceive it by the senses. It is not some experience of the mind, some emotional state, not some intellectual state. It is beyond body, mind, intellect. Senses can't even see their own object properly. Forget seeing Brahman. Eyes cannot see certain, ultraviolet rays. It will not be able to see. Only a certain range I can see. The ear cannot hear certain level of sound, only it can hear. Above and below that it cannot hear. Senses can't even perceive their own object fully. Obviously, they can't perceive another object. So eye won't be able to listen to sound. Ear will not be able to smell anything. And their own object they can't perceive fully. How will they perceive Paramatma, which is the source of all? And so when people say, have you seen God? That question only is stupid. You can't see God because God is not in the range of perception at all. How will you see God? If you see this whole Srishti and say this is appearance of God, that much only one can say, yes, I am seeing what else, only God is appearing as all this. So Vedant will say, yes, I have seen God and I am seeing God. There is nothing else except consciousness. But that is because of inner clarity of thought, vision. It is not sensorily perceptible. It is not some emotional state, oh, I feel so peaceful now. This peace is God. Peace of mind is not God. Because peace of mind comes and goes. Some extraordinary experience comes, some light I saw, that is also not God. It is some samskara in the mind, I saw something. Same way, buddhi. Swamiji, my mind became so blank, that shunyata is Bhagavan. Shunyata is also not Bhagavan. It's just a darkness, dullness, something that you saw. And there's nothing called shunya actually. Because if you recognized it, then there's no shunya anymore. If you say this is shunya, finished, shunya is gone. So what is shunya? Absence of certain emotions, certain thoughts, certain objects, we may call it as shunya, but otherwise there's nothing called shunya because you are there to recognize it. Then how is it shunya? The witness of all this is that, and that witness is the nature of Sachidananda, and that Sachidananda is appearing as the whole Srishti. That knowledge has to be heard from a teacher. Only Shastra, what is that? Shabda Praman. Only Shabda Praman is the method to know the truth. All the other pramanas, all the other means of knowledge are not valid for realizing the truth. They are valid in the world for certain things. I can infer certain things. I can, postulate. I can praise. I can compare. I can directly perceive. So all this, what we say, pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, arthapatti, you know, shabda is the last one, the sixth one, which I will be able to compare, which I have to hear from the teacher, and that is the script. That is the direct means of realization of the truth. Is only that through the words the state is indicated, and if the mind is ready, one will realize. Now, if that is understood, that's what this is saying. Tata padam tat parimargitavyam. That state should be sought. Parimargitavya means should be sought. From where? From a teacher. So the word is not implied, a word is not given there, but that is the implication. Why? Because the Upanishads are very clear. Only the one who has a teacher will know the truth. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. And who is that Acharya? That Acharya has to be Shrotriya and Brahmanishta. We got such a teacher. Not only one teacher, we got so many such teachers. We are in the parampara of such teachers. I keep saying this many, many times because somewhere one has to keep understanding that the rarity of such masters and to come to belong to a lineage of such master is the rarest of the rare blessing. And it comes because of so much of punya karma of the past as well as grace of Bhagwan and karuna of the Guru Parampara. Kripa of Bhagwan, karuna of Guru Parampara, and karma of the Jiva. In that, karma of the Jiva is the smallest, this much cause only. Everything else is grace of Bhagwan, Kripa of Bhagwan, and karuna of Guru Parampara. Shankaracharya ji onwards, his lineage one is into Shivanand ji Maharaj, the Gurudev, Tapon Maharaj. Look at that lineage of realized people. And their words one is listening to, one is purifying, doing the sadhana, one will definitely attain the truth. So one needs the teacher. And having gone to the teacher, one goes with this attitude, then one will attain Tameva Chadyam, that alone. And that teacher will also indicate it like that. Teacher will not say the truth is somewhere out there. The teacher will say that Purusha in your heart, that is the truth. In the Kathopanishad it comes, Ananya Prokte Gatiratra Nasti. Ananya Prokte, that teacher who has become one with the truth, for whom there is no duality, na anya vidyate. And that teacher who is established in the truth will teach you in the way the Vedas are indicating, Vedanta is indicating what? That you are Ananya, that you are not different from that. You are not a part of that. You are one with that. There is no part and whole. There is no Brahman has no parts. So there is no Atma Chota, Paramatma Bada, Atma becoming one with Paramatma. All that doesn't happen. So the teacher will teach like that. That's why he says, Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye. I seek refuge of that Purusha. Why? Because the teacher has indicated, and that's why the student is seeking that, turning within. Already the student has learned to turn the attention away from the sense objects, asanga shastrina dridena chitva, and stay within, stay quiet, contemplate. Then the teacher indicates that which is the witness of all this is the truth, and that is Atma, that is what you are. Tattvam Asi. Or whichever way, whatever way the teacher indicates the oneness of Jiva Jagat Jagdishvara, then the student, if the student is prepared, immediate will be the realization. Guru Upadesh happens, instant realization. If the student is not prepared, then do Shravan Manan Nididhyasan. And that's why here, Tameva Chadyam, Purusham Prapadye. I seek refuge of that Purusha in my heart who is the source of the whole Srishti. And when one realizes this, then what happens? Fulfilled. Life is fulfilled. Samsara gone. One realizes Brahman. There is only one Brahman. That's it. So in this shloka, we have in the third shloka preparation was given, fourth shloka Guru Upasati is given. Then the sadhana is what? The Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye. Learn, listen from the teacher and then seek refuge. That is the sadhana. And then what is the result? Phala. Yasmin Gata na nivartanti bhuya. Having gone where there is no return. Why will we return from a particular place? Akhandanand has given some nice points here. I'm going to share that. That one returns from a place, one reason can be because desire did not get fulfilled. One got disappointed. What is this now? Sometimes one goes to a place and one has seen something on the internet. Oh, such a hyped up place it will be. And then one goes there, then one says, Kya hai yahan pe? Kuch nahi. Got disappointed and came back. So sometimes one returns because, disappointed, desire didn't get fulfilled. Sometimes one returns because one sometimes got disrespected, was not given enough love, respect in some place, and then one says, Chalo, I don't want to stay here. One comes. Third, he says that place itself was not proper. Some flaw was there in that place or those people. So one says, no, better return. Or one did something terrible, one was kicked out. Get out from here. How dare you say this? How dare you behave like this? Out. Or sometimes the person whom one loves is somewhere else. So one is not feeling happy and then one goes to that place. My beloved is in whatever, my home now, I've come here. Okay, I'm doing some work, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but my heart is not here. So one again comes back. Because one is not feeling. Like that, he gives some few of the reasons saying all this in general in the world, that's why people come back, they return. But once you come to this Paramatma, none of this. In Paramatma, all desires are fulfilled. There is nothing more to fulfill because one has attained that. In the Upanishad, it is said, it is like so oshnute sarvan kaman saha. It is like that person is experiencing the fulfillment of all the desires at the one and the same time. Taittiriya Upanishad says that. Satyam jnanam anantam brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman so oshnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vipaschiteti. Such brilliant mantras. One will experience that bliss. Imagine one desire is fulfilled, we feel so elated. All desires fulfilled at the same time. And this is just one little way to express that infinite happiness, how to express. These are ways by which Shastra tries to make us understand that state is not some dull state. Tata padam tat parimargitavyam. Hence you seek that. Why are you seeking fulfillment of one desire? Go to the source. All your desires will be they will just drop away and you will realize the Brahman, bliss of Brahman is indescribable bliss. Yata pravritti prasatra purani, from where the whole srishti is coming, that is the source. Raso vaisaha rasagga hyevayam labdhva anandi bhavati. It is that state of absolute bliss, gaining which one becomes so absorbed in the absolute state, blissful state, anandi bhavati. Narad Bhakti Sutra says, Tabdho bhavati, matto bhavati. That person becomes as though intoxicated with that bliss of Brahman. Indescribable is that bliss. So, here he says that Paramatma sthiti is like that. So, there is no need to come back. Why? Because all desires got fulfilled. Then he says, there is no duality there. So, there is no question of anybody insulting you, not giving you love, respect, and all that. In fact, Bhagwan loves the Bhakta more than anything else, and when Bhakta is surrendered fully, Bhagwan drops his Jiva Ishvara Bhav. Bhakta has dropped the Jiva Bhav. Brahman only, there is no craving for any love, respect, there is nothing, no. Beyond all emotional state it is. Then, that place was not proper to stay. Array, that state is the absolute state of bliss. How is it not proper to stay? No realized person, however, sorrowful they may have been in terms of the society's torture, they have never felt that state is, compromised. Jesus got crucified, certain saints got murdered also, some people have been treated badly, they have been disrespected. Many things have happened to so many great masters. Mirabai was given poison. Lal Ded was treated as some, mad woman. Nothing. Gita says, Yasmin Chitona Dukkhena Gurunapi Vichalyate. Once one is established in that state, heaviest of sorrows do nothing to that person. So where the question of, that place was not proper and somebody disrespected, even the world may disrespect them, nothing matters to them. They're reveling in Brahmic bliss. One was sent out, there's nothing to send out, no one to send out. Beloved is somewhere else. No, one has realized the truth here and now. Where is somewhere else? No beloved somewhere else. So he says, none of the causes for the jiva, which because of which the jiva generally returns from a place to another place, those causes only are not there. In our situation, we have to add that, because of our vasanas, karma, we keep coming back and again because we want to fulfill desire. This person is a jivan mukta, there's nothing. And Akhandanandji gives one very nice, cheeky comment. He says that, Bhagwan doesn't allow you to return from that state. Why? Because his secret you have come to know now. Unka pol khul gaya. You will go and tell everybody the truth. What is that truth? You may defame him that, that supreme state is nirguna, nirakara. And it is not what you are imagining. It is a nirgun nirakar parabrahma tattva, ananda sthiti it is. You are stuck with some name, form, and this loka, that state is beyond all this. Now that ultimate nature of Bhagwan, this Jivan Mukta has come to know. Now the Jivan Mukta will come back and tell people. So Bhagwan says, don't send him back. Meaning what? For that Jivan Mukta, there is no duality only. So whom will he come back and tell? There's nobody, there's only one Brahman. His, poetic way to express this. There's nobody to tell anything. So he doesn't allow him to come back. Obviously, it is only a comment which is just in good humor that Akhandanandji has said. Otherwise, you see so many Jivan Muktas who are there. If they were not there, we would not even know that that sthiti like that exists. But he is just saying that Yad Gatva Yasmin Gata Na Nivartanti Bhuyaha. Once again, one doesn't fall back into ignorance at all. And so, these two verses, they will tell us exactly how to realize the truth, end the samsara vriksha, realize absolute oneness. Now he gives in the next verse 5 qualities that if somebody says ki okay, I have not yet been able to realize the truth, I am not yet ready, what are the qualities I should cultivate and which will help me to know the truth? So this 15th chapter 5th verse is a 5-star verse. We will see that in our next satsang, and that will be on Thursday. So we thank all our Yajmans. The Mukhya Yajmans for this whole series. Just a minute, some technical issues not opening. So the Mukhe Yajmans for all the whole series: Ajay Kasotia ji, Tarana Khubchandani ji, Kalpana Morparia ji, Parag Wagh, Ajay Merchant ji, Bharat Khanna ji, Deepika Bakshi ji, and Vandana Jagwani ji. The Aarti Yajmans for all sessions: Vinu Munshi ji, Deepti Gandhi ji, Jyotsna Nevatia ji, Rashmi Anand ji, Rajan Saxena ji, Vipul Dalal ji, Hemant Kumar ji, Nalini ji, Sudhir Merchant ji. Today's Dainik Yajmans: Sonal Bhuta ji, Sanjita Bhatt ji, Rekha Shanbag ji, and Mamta Shah ji. And today's specific Aarti Yajmans: Lata Shri ji, Dimple Parekh ji, Deepika Bakshi ji, and Vishal Dhawan ji. So we invoke Bhagwan's grace, Gurudev's blessings on all the Yajmans, their families, and everyone present here. May Bhagwan bless us with the Vairagya, Asanga Shastrena Dridhena Chitva. May we find a Guru if we have not found yet, and may we attain Atmagyan, fulfill the purpose of human life, and go beyond samsara. Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Krishna.
ॐ जय भगवद्गीते मैया जय भगवद्गीते हरिय कमल विहारिणि सुन्दर सुपुनीते ॐ जय भगवद्गीते कर्म सुमर्म प्रकाशिनि कामासक्तिहरा तत्त्वज्ञानविकासिनि विद्या ब्रह्मपरा ॐ जय भगवद्गीते निश्चलभक्तिविधायिनि निर्मलमलहारिणि शरणरहस्यप्रदायिनि सबविधि सुखकारी ॐ जय भगवद्गीते रागद्वेषविदारिणि कारिणि मोद सदा भवभयहारिणि तारिणि परमानन्दप्रदा ॐ जय भगवद्गीते आसुरभावविनाशिनि नाशिनि तमरजनि दैवी सद्गुणदायिनि हरिरसिका सजनी ॐ जय भगवद्गीते समता त्याग सिखावनी हरिमुख की बानी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामी
बोलिए श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। ओके, एनी क्वेश्चंस? ऑल राइट। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम, श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।